vloggers. Okay, so today it's going to be an arts and crafts project, sort of, kind of, not really. What we're doing is we're taking ordinary t-shirts, like this one. Let's see. That's what it looks like, yep. And we're going to make them into cool, like, little tube tops, rib shirts, off-the-shoulder shirts, all that fun stuff. And let me show you the back of this one. I just got done with it. Well, this one used to be on a long sleeve hoodie kind of thing. It's in on the coast, and then there's the back. So that's pretty sweet, huh? I originally did this about 2 months ago. I hope this is my face. Probably not. I was going to a white trash party, and that can be anything, you know, trailer trash, like seeing kids, like Days de la Hoya and stuff. So I decided to rip up a shirt, because that's pretty trashy to me. But then I just realized that if it's ripped in moderation, it's actually kind of cute. So I'm going to find something so I can prop this up and show you guys properly. Okay, let's see. There's a lot of crap on my table because I was like sewing, like actual majorly sewing. This one I had to at least. Okay, that kind of, you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I'll move the camera. So, what we're first going to do is take a shirt that we want to rip up. I usually do like crew neck because that just is really annoying. This is what it looks like, you know, just a regular shirt. And first I'm going to decide if I want this to be a tube top or not. Actually, I'll decide that later. So we'll do the back first, and we'll rip it up. Actually, it's not ripping at all, it's cutting. So you want to lay it out flat, like this. See? And then you want to get some fabric shears. You're going to make sure they're used for fabric only because that will make it so much easier to cut. And I don't know how I'm going to show you this. This is going to be really hard. Can you kind of see what I'm doing if I put it there? Let's try. This will be a test. Fun little test. Kind of, but not really. Okay, so here I'll hold it with like my chin and stuff. Maybe. I don't know how I'm going to do this. Okay. Anyways, you're going to take your scissors, see, right there, and we're going to start relatively close to the bottom. I hope this works. Maybe not. Okay, whatever. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut like lines across, and it doesn't matter how far apart. Go up as far as you want, all the way to the top if you like. So I'll just cut a few lines and then I'll show you. Sorry, I talk so fast. Let's do this up here. Actually see me doing something. So just cut it across, and I know that like a lot of people say it has to be a certain space apart, but it really doesn't because you're going to tie it up anyways, and it doesn't really matter how far apart they are. So I'll do like 3 of them. Try not to cut yourself because I did that earlier and it just did not feel too pleasant. Okay, let's do another one. Now my strips are going to look kind of raggedy. Now what you want to do is maybe I didn't make this clear. Let's see. You don't want to like cut all the way through. See how it's still like attached on both ends to the shirt? Okay, so we have 4 different strips there. Can you see that? That's 4. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cut it down the middle so we can tie them. So I'm going to do that real quick. Usually, it shouldn't be too hard at all. Like, I'm not going to lie. There's people who think this is hard, or people who pretend like this is something really hard to do. It's not. Okay, so I just ripped that one a little bit, and it's just look kind of weird. And then you're going to tie them. So you just take 2 strips. See, now they're all cut apart, and you have pretty much a huge hole in your back. They're cut apart, and you're going to take 2 strips. What I like to do is I like to alternate. Ooh, I'm getting out of focus here. Alternate between doing like tying 1 together and then tying like 2 together. Does that make sense? I'll show you. Okay, so we're going to tie the first one together. So take these first 2 strips and then tie a knot. It's really simple. Doesn't take that long. You know, my tying skills were up to par. And then I like to pull it tight just to make sure it won't come. So just like pull it tight and you have a little knot. Cute little knot. And you're just going to keep doing that with the strips. Now, as I said before, I like to alternate between 1 and 2. So I'll take 1 from this side and 2 from this side, and I'll tie them together. And I usually do it like I tie the first one together, kind of pull it tight, not really, and then I'll tie the second one into those other 2 remaining, like, leftover tail things. Oh gosh, this is hard. Since they are kind of jagged, it's kind of hard to tell what I'm pulling and what I shouldn't be pulling, but it's really not a big deal. And then since there's so much like left over, it looks kind of weird. I'll tie them all together just to make sure it's tighter. And how tight you tie your knots is going to determine how tight your shirt is in the front. So always consider that when you're tying. Like, you don't want it to make it super tight unless you want it super tight in the front. And I usually just do that tightness at the top. Okay, so now I'll show you what I have so far. Okay, so far I have this one right here and then this one that's 2. And they look kind of weird. So what we're going to do is that if you're using a cotton shirt, it's always easier to do this. You just pull and yank a little bit and it kind of rolls up. See? And so that kind of gives you a better idea of how much skin you're showing. So it's also something you want to factor into it is the more strips you cut, the more skin you're going to show. So if you cut like 4 strips in the back, you're not going to show as much skin. And if that's like an issue for you, then I would suggest doing that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to keep cutting up the back. I just wanted to show you how that goes. Keep cutting it up. And I like to cut a lot of strips because it gives me more options to tie, where to make it tighter and looser. It just forms to my body better than if I didn't. So keep cutting. And then I think later I'll show you how to make a tube top after sleeves and stuff. It does require showing a sewing machine and a little patience, but it's really is simple. And once again, anyone who thinks it's hard, who's going out and paying lots of money for like a tube top, it's not necessary. It's not necessary at all. Just go to the thrift store, buy a shirt, wash it, and then cut it up. Make it your own. Turn me on. Bedspread bed since 89. You wear your heart on your sleeve, but your mind to the sky. Okay, so now I have about half the back cut out, strips and everything, right there. See? And so we're just going to keep tying. We're going to do it in different intervals. Do like this one where I did 2, do 1s, do like 3s. On the shirt I'm wearing now, they're all crisscrossed. Looks really cool. We could even do that, you know. You can cross those 2. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and do a crisscross one because I just gave myself that cute little idea and I'm going to want to take advantage of it. So, maybe not right now. I don't want to do too many cool ones next to each other because it just gets really confusing and I don't know, I think backs are lovely. So, giant desire, my pride could spit out fire. And the easiest way to do this is to make sure that your shirt is always laying flat. Otherwise, it's going to be just like a huge, crazy mess, and you're not going to know what's going on, and tying might be difficult. You might leave one untied. So it's always easy to make sure that you know where all of your little straps are, and so you can tie them all. Okay, so let me show you what I just did. We have the single, but then we have the 2, and then we have just another single, and then we cross these. So that's going to look really cool too. And we're going to do this all the way up to the bottom, to the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this and then come back to you in a minute, okay?